She's coming off. Okay, no.
I'm gonna have to throw that in the blooper.
When I was in labor, it was a point where they couldn't find her heartbeat, and so got up, passed out.
It was like really just asking me, like, do you still trust me? Like, I've shown you who I am.
Yeah.
I've shown you what I can do. I'll show you what I'm capable of, in spite of, you know. It's gonna be loud.
Girl, I seen your videos.
It's gonna be extra loud.
I'm a subscriber.
What's good? What's up, YouTube? Back with another video. Back with another one. And today, we have a guest. Okay, I'm gonna let my guest introduce herself. Go ahead, girl.
Hi guys, my name is Amber Anderson. I am an entrepreneur. I'm a mom.
Okay,
I'm a wife. I'm kind of a mix of it all. But yeah.
Today we're just gonna get into a few topics. So before we do anything, make sure that you're watching this video right now. Make sure that you go ahead and subscribe, comment, like, share, and stay tuned. Let's get it. So the topic of today, God starting a thing through you in the middle of a mess.
Yes.
So you can touch on your own personal experience. You can touch on this environment because everybody's going through this thing called COVID.
Yes.
Everybody doesn't know what it's going to look like, how long it's going to be. But you can also talk about the mess that we have within our lives. Okay. So sometimes it's internal, external, but in the midst of that thing, you know, God shows up and does what only He can do. And it seems to be something that maybe we don't know that we're ready for, maybe that we don't feel fully adequate to do, and it's still being done. So in your scenario, how did that go?
So my mess consisted of a lot of mess at one time. So like I said, I'm a mom. I am married. Our relationship was absolutely magical. Unfortunately, we did have sex out of wedlock. Ended up becoming pregnant. And so that's kind of where our mess began. That in itself can create its own spiral of messes. We talk about it all the time. If we could go back and take it back, we would, but we can't. We got a blessing out of it. When we found out I was pregnant, it was absolutely the craziest situation ever. So I was at work. At the time, I was working at a call center. So I was at work, just working like I normally do. And I think I was 2 months into this job. And so, like, brand new, I'm just working, blah, blah. I felt a little lightheaded. I was about to go get some water. Got up, passed out. Just passed out in the middle of the floor at work. And I'm just like,
what? Like,
bro, like, who does that? Literally, who does that?
They just got here. They barely know me.
And then I was out for a minute, too. And so next thing I know, I wake up. It's people all around me. Somebody holding my head up, fanning me. The ambulance coming in with the stretcher, like asking me if I could walk. I'm like, did I just almost die? Like, what happened? So they rushed me.
Can I pause you for 1 second? Because, like, okay, I've never, to my knowledge, experienced that. You know, I play sports, so. But from that in-between time, do you know that time is passing?
No. So it's just like literally being completely absent from your body, almost, is the best way I can explain it. It's like, I have dreams at night, so I don't really experience, but Christian doesn't. He goes to bed and he wakes up. Like, he doesn't know, like, in between at all. So for him, it's just like, boom, like, this happens and that happens. So that's pretty much how it was. I remember, you know, feeling lightheaded and then passing out and then just waking up. I don't remember nothing else at all. It was a blur. Okay. So they, like, trying to get me on the stretcher, everything like that. We get in the fan. They trying to give me IVs. We get to the hospital. My sister, my older sister is there. Christian is there. Everybody's completely freaked out. Like, my whole family is freaked out right now. The man walks in, and it was so dramatic. He was like, all right, I have some news for you. Do you want them in here or not? I'm like, oh, I got cancer. I got cancer. I'm dying. Like, I got a concussion. I don't know. Something like, big. It was drastic. I was like, yeah, of course I want them in here. Like, if it's that big, why wouldn't you want your family right there? But I understand people process things differently. Right. But he says, oh, you're pregnant. I was like, nah. And I was like, nah, okay. Like, okay, what else? Like, what else is there? And so he was like, you're pregnant. Me and Christian looked at each other and we was like, oh my God. Like, this can't be it. My sister, she just looked at me. She was like, I'm gonna let y'all talk. I was just like, no, you can stay. She said, I'm gonna let y'all talk. So that was like the beginning of like my mess. And it just took so long to process. Like finding out that you're pregnant and you weren't expected to be. Like, I mean, when you out here just having sex with your partner and everything, you know, you try to play it safe. Especially when you know you're not supposed to be doing it.
And that's the big,
It's just like, all right, Lord. You
so
got
it's
me.
not only like something new to you.
Yes.
A new experience, you know, relationship, mid-situation, trying to figure out that. But
Yeah.
also, you know what I'm saying, in the faith, trying to figure out, okay, I did a thing.
Yeah.
Right? And it's perceived as a thing and for a valid reason, you know. And then it's like, okay, how do I explain this to the people that I love?
Yes.
That love me and know me.
Yes.
But know, you know. So it's like, okay, then it's like parenthood.
Yes.
On top of it, and I'll speak on it, but marriage, the whole shebang is like trying to figure out boom, boom, bam, and then starting a business. So let's continue to talk about it.
Yeah, so we processed that, and that was actually really hard for me to process because it was just like, Lord, I let you down. Like, I let myself down, I let you down, I let my family down. So that was the beginning of like our mess. So we grew through that. Christian proposed that November at Thanksgiving. Woo woo. And then, okay. And then we ended up getting married in January. So that was totally new for us. We were really excited though, because everybody knew in 2020 Christian was going to propose. We all knew that.
And the thing about you don't know this, because okay, so to bring you up to speed, right? Me and Chris knew each other for a while. I've been going to this church since 2015. So give or take, you know, a few. Now, when did you guys meet?
We met in 2017.
So a couple years in. But we, like, the way that we were as a youth group, so it was part of a church, the way we were is pretty much family.
Family.
Everybody's cousins, you know, we arguing like cousins, we love each other like cousins, like all that was all the same. So then I meet Amber through Chris, and I'm like, Chris doesn't settle down. We knew, you know, what was going on, and, you know, God gave Chris his own testimony. Shout out to you. And it was shocking because I'm like, that's something he doesn't do. So then we was like, okay, we knew this was serious for him, you know, and then years came in. It's like, oh yeah, this is getting serious. So we pretty much knew what was going on from his side of it, but just to hear her side is just like, hold on, she had to make the baby.
Sorry, one sec.
Can the funny part be that we was just talking about her?
Bro, okay.
And then she like, what you saying?
See yourself? Oh wait, can they see my lap?
They see to...
Oh dang, yeah they do.
That's fine.
Okay.
That's fine. This is a real channel. This is real life. These are real things, okay?
Okay.
This ain't no fake.
Because I'm like, I don't... And I tried to get somebody to watch her for me. Christian is working and they be tripping about her being in the background and stuff. And couldn't nobody watch her, so I had to do it.
Measy little kids. You know my nephew.
Yes. Your son?
Pretty much
Your son?
at this point. They say we look just alike. Like,
y'all
just
do.
alike.
Like, when I seen him, I was like, oh my God.
That's
like,
why I'm scared. Like, you know, I'm... Okay, before you had a kid, like, don't want the perception of that. Because he's 5 and he's big 5. Like, he could be 7. So I'm like... And I look like I'm 12 and a half.
Honestly, so you do have the most babyest of baby face.
They gonna try to say that's me, and I'm like, I don't want it to be me.
So
every time I'm outside, I'm like, all right, nephew, I got, like, I make sure that I emphasize, for whatever reason, I don't know, but it's just something that I've done.
Yeah, but no, like, he literally is the splitting image of you. Like, if I didn't know that was your sister's son, then I was like, wow, Maya got a kid? And the fact that you look so young, it's just like, that can't be her kid. That can't be. Like, a kid having a kid,
and
like...
Me and my sister are 18 months apart.
I did not know that. I thought y'all at least had some years between y'all.
18 months. So we used to be the twins, but you know, life grew people, all this stuff, and I still have my baby face. So it's just like...
No, and y'all look so much alike too, but he looks like spot on you. Like, I'm telling you, like, if I didn't know that was your sister's son, I would have thought he was yours. You need to, like, make up your mind what you gonna do. I'm not playing with you. Cause you...
She said we don't play this.
You are your daddy. Okay.
She jumped up like, we at the party now. What's up?
What would you like to do? I'm not playing. No. Do you want to go to sleep? Cause you can go to sleep. You just can't. You don't want to go to sleep?
Are you gonna chill?
You do? You don't know what you want to do.
You see the people? You see them? They right there. No, they right here. You see them? Yeah, they say hey.
Hi, pretty girl. Yeah.
Okay, so now you're proposed to, you know, fiance and things of that
Yes.
nature. So then where did God take you?
So after we got married, so we got married January 2020. Settling in was a lot because that next phase of just being married, it turned chaotic, if you will, really quick. Because literally January we got married. What was it? The month after, or a couple months after COVID stuff. So we went on complete lockdown in our house in March, like the second or third week in March, and it was just like complete shutdown. Like Christian was working from home, I'm working from home, not going nowhere, nobody coming to see us, none of that. And then it really, like for sure went on lockdown. So not only trying to get to know somebody, like, well, we knew each other, obviously, we've been together for years.
Levels,
yeah, but 24/7 nonstop, we working together, we wake up, go to bed together every single day nonstop. Like, I think that was a test of our marriage. Everyone had told us, like, your first year is going to be challenging. Nobody could have prepared us for being locked down for a whole year, basically. And with me being pregnant, it was, my hormones was up and then down, then left and right. It was just so much, and trying to balance a new marriage, and you know, trying to balance working from home and just not being able to see our family and friends was a big thing for us. I think I just talked about it on my live.
Break. What's the business? Let's talk about it. Yes, ma'am.
So my business is A Girl Like You. It's a women's empowerment program. We just started November 25th of 2020. So we just started last year. Excuse the little one. We just started last year, and it has been a phenomenal ride so far. We have a weekly prayer line that we do. I go live and discuss a different topic. This week we talked about mental health, and with that, kind of brings me back. I dealt with depression. Okay. I dealt with depression before a little bit, my pregnancy, just a little bit. It wasn't too much. I would just have sad days because I was in the house all day, every day, and I didn't have exposure to anything or anybody. But that was really a big thing, which is why I wanted to talk about mental health so much, is because a lot of people take for granted what women go through, not only just after a baby, but during pregnancy, during labor, because I don't think we shared it with anybody really, but when I was in labor, it was a point where they couldn't find her heartbeat. And so that, as a mom, is devastating. Like, Lord, take me, devastating. And so God brought us through that. And all of this is happening in 2020.
In the midst of COVID. Like, you went through COVID, but this is like COVID times 7. Like.
Yes, because for a while they said you couldn't have anybody in your room when you gave birth. I'm like, Lord, this is my first baby. What am I doing? I don't know how to do this. So they eventually lifted that. Christian and my sister were able to be in the room. But that whole experience, that added to the mess some more. And then being home with a newborn, still pretty much, we weren't, I think by the time Summer got here, she was born May 29th. By the time Summer got here, we were kind of lifted a little bit, like we can go to and fro. Do you want to get her? Okay. We could go to and fro, but it was still just a lot not having people to come over, because, you know, when you have a baby, everybody coming to see, everybody helping out.
Especially when you guys both have big families, you know, very involved families that are, you know, used to seeing each other and gathering together.
All the time. So that was so hard not seeing them. So being like just closed off with this newborn with Christian, and we are literally all we see and breathe each and every day. The early mornings, late nights, 24/7 clock. That was a lot. That added to the mess. With the business, that helped me launch it, because with my depression, I eventually sought out therapy. And so with that, it was just like, what do you have a passion for? And I was like, well, my kid, my husband, you know, you don't have a passion for too much when you lock down every day. But that introduced my business. I have had the plan since 2016, sat on it for so long, and God was like, it's time. It's not. That was my answer.
Okay, so we're gonna stop there for a second, because I want to talk about your stage of depression, but like going through COVID, I think a lot of people learn more about themselves than they have in a while.
Yeah.
So you're sitting there literally isolated, so you and your family trying to figure out, what is life? What am I doing? Like, I don't have these things to go to. I just have to sit here for a second.
Yeah.
So what are some things that you learned about yourself in that time?
One major thing I learned about myself is, some people say it's a blessing and it's a curse, but I really feel like I'm a perfectionist. And not so much when it comes down to every aspect in my life, mainly when it comes down to who I am as a woman, who I am as a wife, and who I am as a mother. Along with that, as a sister, a friend, and everything else. Like, just who I am as a person. If I feel like I'm lacking in the area of reaching out to people, or if I'm not doing my job as a mom, if Harm is crying and I'm not tending to her, like, I get frantic. Yeah. So who I am as a person, who I come off, like, I really realize I think way too much into what other people think of me and how they view me. And social media, that was a killer for me. I would see, oh, these moms work, or they do this and they do that, and they don't seem tired, or they are fit and everything else. Like, I just literally would just scroll all day and compare myself to every little detail I seen come across my screen. And that was it was the biggest hindrance for me during COVID, because it's like I could be doing so much better. I could be doing so much more. Just the comparison, it was terrible. But at the same time, it was just like a reflection. It's just of me as to, if you want to do it, why aren't you doing it as well?
And that's what it is at the end of the day. I think, to touch on a comparison, but also to bring back to that, it's like, think about it when you're in your toughest moments. Are you really posting as much as you normally would be? Are you posting those, like, and I have had times where I've been on, YouTube or social media where I'm expressing that vulnerable moment. But for the most part, if I'm going through something, leave me alone. Like, that's just how I feel about it sometimes. So it's like, for you to say, okay, these, in this, what social media sucks you into, but like, at a certain point, people are only showing you their celebratory moments, their successes, I'm on vacay, I'm doing this, I just did this, that's what people like to do. That's what people enjoy, because that's what's going to get, in most people's eyes, the most feedback, or the most, praise in the community. And that's what it is. So I think a lot of people get sucked into that, because they see, even if you get to like people our age, that some people are millionaires, some people are homeless, and they're all the same age. So it's like, everybody's journey is going to be separate and individual to what their life needs and what God needs from them at that time. But it's also like just being happy, because our worst days are somebody's prayer. And we don't, and I learned that recently, because like, my worst day, like on the worst day, I still have a house. Even if it's heated, cold, hot, sweaty. You feel me? I have a house. I have my basic needs and necessities, and I have some. More than, and then I could even, think or even want. It's given to me. Things are coming and flowing so smooth. It's like, I just gotta be there. I just gotta wake up and keep living life and keep doing, what I need to be doing. But it's just like, sometimes it gets crazy, because it's like, it's overwhelming when we don't have control over certain things. It just gets tough. So
that was the thing that I faced so much. It was probably the biggest thing, is me trying to be everything for everybody as well. Like, my self-care definitely lacked so much. It lacked so much during that time, because your main focus is your child. Like, it's your child, whether you want it to be or not. When they need something, you have no choice. They cannot fend for themselves. They can't just get up and make breakfast, or just go to the restaurant whenever they feel like it. So having someone completely depend on you, you at times forget about you and what you need. It's like, as long as she eats, as long as she's fed, as long as she's cleaned up, as long as she look good, then I feel like I look good at the end of the day. Even if I look completely terrible, my hair sideways and everything, if she look good, I'm like, okay, I did.
Oh, that baby's cute in the store. That stuff that reflecting on you. So learning all that from yourself, going through your experience. And I'm going to speak on mine. I'm going to let you get through yours. But how did that help you launch your business?
So, ultimately, just finding the courage to say I need to focus on me, dealing with postpartum depression, and then God just constantly being on me about starting my business. Therapy, I went and I sought out help, because it's just like, I need some type of some type of outlet, something to get me back refocused. I'm so sorry. Alright, so in the midst of me going through so many transitions, getting married, or first off, finding out I was pregnant, getting engaged, getting married, having a baby, and then going through postpartum depression, that's when I knew I need some help. Like, the feelings, it was just like, I would get sad out of nowhere sometimes, and I was just, literally how old people say they weep, I would weep, and it's just like, why? Like, why? Like, I'm so happy. I had a newborn, little precious little baby. Why am I sad? And so with that, that led me to therapy. And so with therapy, that became the most significant little highlight of that moment. And then God had already told me, like, over and over again, it's time to start your business. I was like, no, not right now. And so with therapy, my therapist actually spoke life into me about my business, and I was just like, all right, God, I hear you. And so with that, the more she kind of helped me deal with the problems I was already facing, it was just like, not everybody feels led to do therapy, especially in the church. The church doesn't make therapy seem normal.
And I love that you spoke on that, because it's like, okay, God is God, and that's it, you know, all in all, respectfully, you know, but it's just like, at a certain point, God put people in place to help in this physical world until we get to the next life. So while we're here, you know what I'm saying, there's doctors and there's people that are in place to do their job. You know, that may be their gift, their calling from God, you know, and learn that and let that help us grow. And I think that's something that I'm already private, so I don't like telling my friends, let alone a stranger, what's really, really going on with me. And it's like, I want to get to the point where I open up to like a friend group or something like that, but even that hasn't fully formed to how I manifest in my head it should be. If that makes sense. Like, I know people and people know me and friends and blah blah, but it's not like the close-knit friends that maybe I grew up during childhood or those high school that it's just different, you know? And especially being in COVID, it's like I adapted to this isolation in a way where it's really just me and God. And maybe some few family friends here and there, but it's really just about this relationship and knowing that I can be in I speak to God in public. We outside at work, and it's like, if it's something that comes up, it's like, God, what's up? And I just stop, because it's like, a lot of the times it's a lesson within the mess. That it's like, I'm trying to learn and understand about myself, but also about the scenario. You know, it's probably bigger than you, and sometimes it's not even for you. Like you said, the business, and I think you're experiencing a therapy side of it, like, you're going to therapy, you're having your life spoken into you from another female. It's like, I want this for your daughter, but also for the people that you know in this world who are struggling. You know, going through life, even if they do know God, even if they don't know God, it may be even worse because they don't have that hope, that outlet, that reassurance that they may need, or that love that they may need in their life. Amen.
But that was my main thing of starting it too, is God, everything I have ever been through, God has always told me, it's not just for you. Like, the things I go through is not just for me. And when I had Harmony, I had a daughter, I'm just like, okay, so maybe it's to prevent her from going through things. But God was just constantly reminding me over and over again, it's bigger than you. It's more than you. And I say it each and every time I am on live, each and every time I make a video, if it touched one person, if it only touches one person,
and I did what I was supposed to be doing, that's it.
That's it, that's all. No more words need to be spoken. Like, that's everything to me. And like you said, like, for me, my friend group always hasn't looked like what I wanted to look like, especially when I lost friends. That to me was like the biggest heartbreak ever. Like, that was just so much for me. It's just losing friends, losing people who came into my life. Like, that was just so much for me. But then God reassured me that the people would come, especially when I pray for the right people at the right time too. Because just because they may be the right person that I need in my life, I may not necessarily be ready for them. And that just, some people apply that to just relationships, but that goes for friends. And I've learned that as I've grown, like, internally, my personal growth, as I continue to grow, that's when God has been moving more and more people into my life and moving me into other people's life. It's just like, I learned how to make myself available, and that is like the basis of my business, is trying to make myself available to be present. And with the business, I've learned that not all the time it's when we're comfortable. Like, so starting my business, I was not in a comfortable stage at all. I was in the most uncomfortable stage. But God was just like, do it, or take it away. And I was just like, all right then, I don't want you to take it away. So I started, and it has blessed my soul tremendously. Like, the amount of people that I get, like, I may not always see the feedback, and everything that I want. Like, I may not get all the views that I want. I may not get all the responses I want. I may not get all the sales. Like, we have merchandise. I may only get 1, 2 t-shirts to sell sometimes, and it's just like, Lord, you said I was gonna prosper in this, but I'm not.
Now where's my return on my investment?
Where's my return at? But when one person just says, wow, that live blessed me, or wow, like, I love what you're doing, even that, like, I love what you're doing, that makes me keep going. Like, it's like, it solidifies, like, this is what you're meant to do. And I just, like, the business has literally become my outlet. Like, when I'm able to have a conversation with another woman who says, hey, I've been there, I've experienced that, or like, I know where you are. And even, especially when people are further advanced than I am, it's just like, I've been there, so I know how you feel. It's like, you impart that into me, and it uplifts me. And then somebody else will come to me like, I'm struggling with this. She just imparted that in me, and it's lifted me. Like, now I can push that, and I can give it to you. And it's just an ever-flowing connection through like-minded women. And even strangers. Like, I come across a lot of girls that I don't even know. Like, I don't know them from nobody in this world. Literally. And just for, like, when strangers do it, that's when I know, like, okay. All right, God. This it. All right, here's my return. Okay, thank you, God, for that. So I've been, like, extremely blessed. It's not where I want it to be right now, but I know that I have to keep pushing myself. Even in my worst moments, like, I have to keep pushing. And it was to the point where I was just like, I'm about to stop this. Like, mentally, I need to stop. Like, I need to stop. But as long as I find some sunlight, some motivation, some encouragement in what I'm doing, and I know that it has, at least, like I said, one person, if it has some impact on just one person, I know I need to keep going. Yes, like, it's worth it at the end of the day.
It can be long nights. People think, oh, it's just YouTube video, or oh, it's just this, or oh, it's just that, but not knowing they see a 10-minute video. The process behind it, as you know now, is just it's a process. So to understand the full effort, and we haven't even got to editing yet. You know, we haven't even got to, I'm gonna throw in an effect, we ain't even got to editing yet. So once it gets to that level, it's like, okay, I understand, like, it's a process. This is the thing that I need to be doing. When you start seeing the feedback, you start hearing certain things. I think the biggest thing that I'm learning personally is I have to stay connected to the source. Because me working in my environment where there is no true light. If you want to just keep it plain, there's no true light. There's a lot of hate. There's a lot of, you know, confusion, lost souls that are just crying for something, but they're trying to fill it with everything that it's not supposed to be. So if you guys don't know, I work in a prison. That explains itself. Working with people who've been there longer than I've been alive, who've been there majority of their life. For instance, I have somebody who went in about 16, 17, you know, tried as an adult, and they're 77. Just to bring it to light. Now, there's only 3 or 4 maybe female prisons in the place I am, so you're just moving. Imagine living in 4 houses your whole life. With a roommate in this room. Their room is literally, like, this is probably the size of their bed, little twin bed, right? From that picture to here is their room. And they have 2 people living in there. 77. Yes. Like, and that's all they know. That's your whole life. Like, that is your whole life. Like, I couldn't imagine not being able to experience just life. I can't imagine not being able to go out to eat when I want, or being able to sit here and have a conversation with somebody I love, somebody that I actually have a connection with, not somebody I just have to adapt to. Like, that for your whole life. Like, that's all. So it's like, when I'm faced with those environments, like, if I come in with the attitude, or I come in, you know, not on post where I need to be, that can overflow into them. People who need that conversation or need that light, that encouragement. So, like, it just encourages me, because I'm like, I'm saying simple words that I think to these people. But to them, just telling them that they matter. Like, for instance, there's a girl who's taking classes right now, and she is looking for, let's say, social work field, just to keep it general. She's looking for a job in the social work field to help, you know, people the same way we're thinking. Help give back to people that have been through what she's been through. She's probably, give or take, 57. She has never heard that she matters in life. We told her that a couple months ago, and she has lit up as a student, as a person, because of one conversation. And it's just so, like, it's so crazy because it's becoming normal to me. But to the outside world, some of the things that are day to day is like shocker, you know.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, God, I appreciate you. Like, it's an honor to be in this position. It's an honor to be able to serve Him and to know Him and to be able to, you know, fellowship with these people and be able to, like, just share my, you know, little scenarios, whatever you want to say. But sometimes I realize, like, some things that I went through was because God needed me to connect with these people.
Yeah.
Whether we had the same background or not, it's always like my scenario with apples and your scenario with oranges. You know, different scenarios, same message, same lesson. And I think that's so powerful that we don't even know it, but in these times are affecting so many different lives.
Yeah. And I think with your job, I think that we forget that those people are human. I think a lot of times we say, oh, they, like, you know, those are bad people, or they did this, or they did that, or they deserve, like, that's, I feel like I've heard that a lot.
Ricky, who went and that was and free him till you see him.
Yep.
So what, you know? Respectfully though. Before
they were accused of whatever, and that situation is what it is. They had normal lives, like and whatever the situation, they had a life. Like, I think we forget that.
And we always, like, the thing about it is, and I speak about this, and I love that you're trying to speak hope into maybe the younger generation, or you know, everybody growing up, to help them have some type of outlet, some type of, you know, person to connect with. Because for a lot of these stories, they were in situations where I don't know what I would do if I was in those situations. Let's say domestic violence, you know, has caused somebody to hurt your child. So you're defending your child in your own life. What are you gonna put in the comment section down below? Like, what are you gonna do personally? So it's like, or situations where you're trying to find money for your child, or you're trying to do the XYZ for your child. Now, there's also people who just, you know, are greedy. There's also people who are just, you know, addicted to whatever their source is. And that's a thing too. But there's also people who are put in situations, scenarios that they're trying to adapt and they don't know how to, and they end up learning some lessons along the road, and that's where they end up in these spaces. So I always say, I don't judge them, because I always say I could have been one, you know, mistake away from that life. If it could, you know, if we think about it.
Literally just one bad, wrong place, wrong time, wrong anything. And that's why I'm so grateful for literally God's grace. Like, just talking and interacting. I know you definitely have experienced, like, a different level of gratitude by where you work and who you, like, come in contact with that visit. It's just like, it gives me a different sense of gratitude, because like you said, like, even on my worst day, somebody wishes that my worst day was their best day. Like, regardless of how low I may feel, or how I feel like I don't have this or have that, like, in the, like, field that we are in, with wanting to give back, wanting to empower women, or just empower people in general, to remind them that they are important. It's just like, it gives you a new, like, life of gratitude, a new, like,
found purpose. It's so refreshing, because it's like, oh, it makes your life make sense. It makes all the stuff that you went through, all that mess, all that drama, all that stuff that
like,
didn't make sense, and didn't really, you know, line up with your perfect movie script of your life. It makes that part, you know, in a sense, make sense. Make it, like, worth it. Okay, this is why I went through X, Y, Z. This is why, for instance, you know, you had the same experience, but going through losses in your family and losses of friends and just crazy life scenarios at a young age. You know, a lot of change, a lot of moving around, a lot of, you know, new experiences. It's kind of hard to go through life when you don't know what life is. You don't know how to, like, if you ever, like, have went through some things that's tough, and whatever your tough is, and to the point where it knocks you down, so you like, okay, I don't know if I want to do it, I don't know what that means. It's like, that can be tough for a lot of people, and knowing how to adapt and to manage and kind of cope through that scenario.
Especially when you don't have guidance on it too. Like you don't have guidance on how to get through this or what do I do or adequate coping mechanisms. Like how do I cope with this the right way? Because we all can say, oh, I cope like this or I cope like that. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's the right way to cope with certain situations.
It makes sense to this point, but it's like, what's the right thing for that scenario? Some people turn to, you know, smoke, drinking, partying, this, or they just avoid it, or they say, oh, I'm this, or they devote themselves and marry themselves to the work life. Like people adapt differently. So it's like, are you healing properly? Are you experiencing things? Are you feeling your emotions? Are you allowing these emotions to, maybe you need to take a break. Maybe you need to breathe a little bit. Maybe you need to go harder. Maybe, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you also have to adapt to the life that we're given and realize that it's a bigger purpose for it.
Yeah.
But also that if you don't do anything, it's going to work out.
Yeah. And then it'd be those moments too where you don't do anything. It's just like, okay, I'm just going to sit back. I'm going to let this pan out and see what God do. And then boom. Sometimes he just switch that thing. Just like, whoop. Okay.
It's always bigger than what we try to do. And it's just...
That's what he waits on. For us to just lay it, just like, you just let me do it. Let me do it.
Imagine as a parent, you understand now. It's like, all right, I'm going to let you go ahead. You going to bump your head a few times. I'm going to go.
Yeah.
Try. But I told you, just walk across the street, left foot, right foot. But you want to go doing all the other stuff, and now you got a broken kneecap.
Yep.
Ouch.
Yep, that's that guidance. That guidance. Like, let me guide you. Let me help you. Let me direct you. Just hold my hand. I will walk you across the street, and we'll both be safe. Just we'll be safe, okay?
Yeah, look, the thing about God, he's so good. Like, he'll wake us up. He'll give us breath. Like, imagine if we had to think about that every day. I would have forgot my head over there. I would have left my leg. Like, you know what I'm saying? Certain things that we take for granted that's, like, so powerful and so necessary for our everyday life. Like, I got injured. I don't think I shared with you guys yet. I was rushing, you know. Always in a rush out to any video. But I was rushing and, like, stubbed my toe on wooden stairs in flip-flops. Like, ouch. And when I say the pain was so quick that it went numb and I didn't know that it would hurt. And then I went to go work out and I came home and the next morning, I feel old, like the next morning type pain. I'm like, whoa, like something's really wrong. My feet were like, it was just weird. So to have to be stopped and sat down for a time where it's like, even in the midst of COVID, life began to pick back up as things are reopening, as you know, people want to go outside, the weather, birthdays, blah, blah, blah. It's like life began to pick up again. I'm like, okay, we outside.
Yeah, like we outside.
Okay, God. Like, okay, we went through this time, but it's just, you know, and I was trying to do too much, and it's like, nah, like, we there, but we ain't there yet. Like, sit down, relax. Like, I still got this. Do you still trust me? And that's the thing, like, do you still trust me? I just love the topic because it's so real about what's going on right now.
Bro, it's
too real. It's a little bit too real.
This is just like, honey, you want to know what having a kid is like? This is it.
I wonder if the frame changed.
Like that Ray J had. It's look, it's hard. She done unplugged the lights. She done made us have to move over.
If y'all know real time, it's probably been like 2 hours. Realistically. What y'all see, I don't know. But real life, it's been
I feel like it's probably been longer than 2 hours.
Plus or minus, you know, an hour. You know, give or take. But no, so I was going through this, you know, speeding through life. Everything was returning to normal. And I just had to, like, God was like, sit down. And do you still trust me? That's where we was at. That's where we was at. Okay. So it was like really just asking me, like, do you still trust me? Like, I've shown you who I am. Yeah. I've shown you what I can do. I've shown you what I'm capable of in spite of. You know, COVID is a time where everybody's supposed to be high and dry and, like, pretty much hurting. And it's like, this was probably the most fruitful time that I've experienced. You know what I'm saying? Like, God really just blessing and blessing and blessing. Not even blessing in terms of monetary or materialistic things. It's more of like my soul. Like, I feel the most like at peace. I feel that I know about myself at this time. Yeah. And that way I know if I'm feeling a certain way, I know how to warn so-and-so that I'm encountering, hey, this is how I'm feeling. Like, you can be around, but I'm going to be this way. I'm going to be that way. Yeah. And I'm more cautious of, you know, what's going on, if that makes sense. It's like, it's just giving me a new look on certain things. And I think me having to just like sit down and answer that question, do you still trust me? I'm like, I do, but my actions at the time weren't showing that.
Yeah.
And it was really like.
She's so intrigued. It's funny.
You gonna take it or you not gonna take it? Oh, here you go.
Thank you.
So it really was just like, it was powerful because I'm like, even in the midst of like, I'm thinking, okay, COVID over, but God is still God. And he's still on the throne. And he's still very jealous of like other things. And that's why I'm saying like, even in the midst of us like, you know, starting businesses, doing certain things that are using our gifts that God gave us, it's like, he gave us those gifts, but he can easily snatch it away. Say, all right, you know, you got the gift, but you didn't utilize it properly, or you got the gift and you didn't fully understand like who it came from or what you were supposed to do. Staying humble in that moment. It's like, all right, I hear you. And I want to continue to hear him before it's too late.
Yes.
So I think it's just great, you know, what you're doing. I want people to know where to find you. So if somebody's right now saying, hey girl, like I said, hey girl, hey.
Hey girl,
we
hey.
need to talk. What's up? Like, how did they get in contact with you?
So I am on, I think, all social media platforms, and so is my business. So on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, all of the above. It is A Girl Like You LLC. So you can find us on A Girl Like You LLC. My personal page is ambii, AMB, 2 I's and 2 underscores, and that's on all social media as well. And then we are starting a YouTube page.
No news.
Okay, everything ambii. Everything ambii, so no underscore. So everything ambii will be where we put all of our lives from Instagram and from Facebook, where we will drop, you know, little things that we're doing in the community, all our giveaways. So yeah, be on the lookout for that.
So
yes.
Yeah. Stay tuned for that, you guys. You already know where to find me, ayyeeee, anywhere you're gonna find me, or it might be some ugly guy on Twitter, but it's okay. If you type in ayyeeee, I'm still gonna pop up. Just make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure that you guys tune into everything that's going on here, but also Mrs. RS. Okay, period. RS, that's it. Anderson. That's it.
Yes, and that's on period.
So thank you guys for watching. Until next time, I see you guys, and have a great day.